From WFAA-TV, the spirit of Texas. This is Good Morning Texas in high definition.
Well, good morning, Texas. All right, now, here's a quick look at what's coming up on today's show. Michelle Walder is here. You know how sometimes you hear those voices in your head tell you, you know what, you're not so pretty, you're so fat, you're all these negative things. Well, we're going to do some mental spring cleaning, all right? We want you to start thinking some positive thoughts to change your outlook on life.
Okay, we're going to try that today, too, Brenda.
Yes, we are.
Positive affirmations in our mind. Okay, Dr. Bill Johnson from Innovations Med Spa is also joining us with treatment.
Believe it or not, everyone talks to themselves. It's human. But what we say makes all the difference whether we're fulfilled in our lives and career. Our next guest says that if you want more out of life, maybe you should examine whether your self-talk is toxic or tender. Michelle Walder is a professional life and career coach, and she joins us this morning for this Family First segment on mental spring cleaning. How are you?
Hi, Brenda. Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad that we're doing this segment because a lot of times we do not realize that we've got some internal talk happening that can be toxic.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We have over 50,000 messages that we tell ourselves internally daily. And it's what we say to ourselves that makes all the difference. There's always a little voice inside our head, ooh, you know, her shoes don't look quite right with that, or ooh, you know, I don't know if I buy into what she's saying even right now. So it's always going, yeah.
Now, what made you focus in on this topic?
Well, most of my clients are in personal and career transition, and I noticed that the obstacles towards achieving their life goals were usually more about their own internal self-sabotaging messages rather than any external constraints. So I wanted to find a way to help them overcome that obstacle and reach their dreams.
Why is self-talk so important? Because I would imagine we would think, oh, it's only one small percentage of what I absorb every day. But it can take on more than that, can't it?
Oh, absolutely. Think of self-talk like mental fuel. Imagine filling your car every day with dirty water and expecting to get where you wanted to go. Now take the same car and fill it with high-quality gasoline, and you'll be able to reach your destination. It's the same thing with our talk and what we say to ourselves and how we're able to get where we want to go.
Now, there are 4 different types of self-talk.
Yes. I call them fondly the bads. Okay. So B is belittling. This is any time we tell ourselves that we're not good enough.
I see.
An example of this would be, this woman in Starbucks the other day, she was at the counter and she reached for the sugar and she spilled her coffee. And she said to herself, oh, I'm so stupid. I can't believe I did that. That's just a common example of the type of things we say to ourselves. Now, you wouldn't say that to your child. You wouldn't want your boss saying that to you. You're so stupid. But we say it to ourselves.
Let's talk about one of the other types.
Awfulizing. This is when we project a future filled with gloom and doom and we scare ourselves. Like an example of that would be, I had a horrible interview. I'll never get a job I like.
Forever. Putting that forever stamp on things that are
forever
small.
and ever. I'm going to be homeless. Then you're under a bridge.
Right. And we can sometimes, that self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yes.
You know, we talk ourselves right out of that job. We talk ourselves right out of that relationship or whatever it might be.
Absolutely. We get what we expect.
Absolutely. And then there's deceiving.
Deceiving is when we blame others and think of ourselves as victims in our own lives. This is a common thing. If only my husband would clean the house, then I could be happy. I'm a victim to whatever actions he takes, so I have no choice or no empowerment in my own life if I'm saying things like that.
Giving all that power to someone else.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
And then the final one is deceiving?
Actually, it's S.
Shoulding.
For shoulding.
Shoulding. That's right.
Shoulding is when we tell ourselves a lot of ought tos, must, and have tos. It's when we place a lot of guilt on ourselves for not reaching these unrealistic expectations.
You know, what's interesting about all of this is that our children are exposed to our thoughts as well, because sometimes we will project our negative thoughts onto them.
Yes.
And then they grow up with it. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. Children are like little sponges. Half of the messages that my clients, or for me, even personally, we get from our parents, or we get from cultural messages.
Yeah.
So if your mom is going around all the time going, oh, you know, I look so terrible, I'll never get a job, the little kid hears all these messages and just absorbs it, and they think that's the way to solve problems, is by telling yourself negative things instead of encouraging positive, tender.
And that becomes generational, because that's what they will do to their child. We had Russell Simmons on last week, and he says, if your child says he wants to be an artist, don't tell them they're going to starve. Put some positive energy into them.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Help them form their own way of encouraging and nurturing themselves.
But the main thing is it starts inside of you.
Yes. If you want to change your life, it starts with internal messages that you tell yourself.
One quick tip, if you can, to help start change that negative self-talk.
First, become aware. A lot of this is unconscious, self-sabotaging.
I see.
Thoughts.
Right.
So become aware, stop, and replace it with a tender alternative.
Be aware of it.
Yes,
all right.
absolutely.
That's where it usually begins. Thank you so much, Michelle. Wonderful,
thank
wonderful.
you.
All right, listen, you can download a free copy of Michelle's Mental Spring Cleaning Workbook from her website, michellewalder.com. You can find a link on our website, wfaa.com/GMT. But first, here's Steve McCauley with another look at our